Welcome to Mike and Jen Xing
Xing.
around the world. I struggle with that every time. I really do. I am Mike.
I'm Jen.
We are married, 17 years coming up.
Mm-hmm.
We got 6 kids,
Yes, we do.
and we're down here in the lovely state of South Carolina.
We are happily transplanted from the Chicagoland area, and we'll never go back to the horrible state of Illinois again.
We will not. Multitude of reasons, and we'll get to that another time. However, we are very happy where we're at now.
Yes, and for those of you joining us again, thank you and welcome back.
Mm-hmm.
But we decided yesterday or the day before. Actually, we've been in discussion for a little bit about switching gears as far as this podcast was concerned.
Mm-hmm.
And the primary reason was because there's only so many conversations you can have reminiscing about movies and TV shows that we grew up in and things. And while we will do things like that, have a little fun episodes.
Absolutely.
We figured this was a platform where we can have a bigger conversation. I think through our life experiences, obviously being Gen Xers, we can add some things. We have experienced things in our lives.
Yes.
We have had quite a journey the past few years, or past 7 years.
7-ish, yeah.
And we are truly a comeback story, and we'll get into all of that at a separate time. But we also really want to talk about the goings on in the world today and our perspective. We really don't have an outlet, so this is what we want to use. And hopefully it sparks a bigger conversation. And one thing we're finding a really hard time with is finding information in anywhere.
Yeah.
You hear something and we're having a really hard time finding things. There was recently a bunch of earthquakes in California.
Yep.
And I'm looking at my news feed and I follow all the major news outlets, including CNN, just to try to get to see what's out there because, there's got to be somewhere in there where there's something,
Somebody's reporting something.
And you're not finding much and you've got to Google it. And at that point you're like, so I find myself getting a lot of my information from people that I follow, as opposed to the news media.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother thing. And first and foremost, I want to tell you something that you may not know. Actually, because I think I told you this, but a lot of you may not know. So back in, I think it's 1945 or 1947, not sure on the exact year, but right around, I think it was 47, right after World War II.
Okay.
The United States passed an anti-propaganda law. Propaganda is basically you can put information out there and it doesn't necessarily have to be true. It can fit a narrative, which we seem to be finding a lot in the United States of America. So after World War II with Nazi Germany and all that stuff, the United States had decided, you know what, that's not going to fly here. So they passed a law which it basically made truth in government and truth in reporting. And if newspapers or news outlets put something out, they had to have sources. Now, they did pass laws where they didn't have to reveal their sources. However, the sources had to be credible. They had to have information to back this up, or they could not put it out there. They could not knowingly lie to the American people, whether it was journalists or the government.
Right.
However, in his infinite wisdom, the great president
Obama
repealed that.
Yes, he did.
While he was in presidency for his whatever.
He was playing the long game, I think.
Mm-hmm.
As we're finding out.
So now we're finding out that the truth in government and the truth in media is no longer a thing. It doesn't have to be in there. It's not a law that is any longer in existence. So therefore, John Mayer says in one of his songs, when they own the information, they can bend it all they want.
Yes, they
and
can.
I think we as a people are finding that to be true. So we found some information out and we want to have a kind of a discussion about it. And maybe you don't know this information because, again, it's not so out there.
So today, I believe we're going to focus on government spending.
Right. But let's talk about the one big thing that happened today.
One big thing happened today.
Yes. The House of Representatives impeached Mayorkas.
They did.
It is the first time that a serving cabinet member has been impeached since I believe it was 1876.
That was the information that I saw. That's absolutely correct.
That's crazy.
It is.
That is a crazy statistic.
It is. Unfortunately, I don't know how far it's going to go because yes, in the House they pass it. Unfortunately, they only pass it by one vote.
Right.
Three Republicans to jump to the other side. Now it goes to the Senate, which is run by the Democrats.
Right. So it's probably going to
So
die there.
But in my opinion, this just turns into basically a dog and pony show.
Mm-hmm.
So we impeach the guy that's in charge. Yeah, he's in charge.
Department of Homeland Security.
So he's in charge of keeping our borders safe.
Mm-hmm. And according to the House of Representatives, and I think we the people as a whole,
yeah,
the man has willfully and knowingly allowed
not done his job.
Yeah,
in essence, is what it comes down to,
and has allowed an invasion into our country.
Yes,
of illegals, and these are not immigrants; these are illegals.
Illegals,
which is an arrestable offense, but not in this. Not in this.
Not in this times.
No, and it's frightening.
It is
absolutely frightening. At this point, I actually feel really scared and frightened for our friends and family that still live in Illinois. I mean, as of January 1st, 2024, they passed a law that illegals can be police officers.
Police officers handling weapons and can arrest legal citizens.
Mm-hmm. How is that?
Someone's got to explain that one to me.
Yes, but also in sanctuary state, which Illinois is, they can get they can get a driver's license.
They can.
They can get work permits.
They can.
But you know what they don't have to do?
Tell me.
Pay.
They don't have to pay taxes?
No.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That makes me happy.
Isn't it awesome?
Yeah, it is. It's a good time.
Yeah. So with that being said, let's talk about the financial standings of our country. What is the present debt? I know you know this number.
I do know this number. It is $34 trillion.
Correct. And I don't even believe that the United States of America has even that amount of money printed. So we don't have enough liquid assets in this country to even cover what our debt is. And the people paying that debt.
Well, yeah.
Is.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good times.
So do you know that with these Bidenomics.
These are always fun to listen to.
Since President Joe Biden
has taken office. Here we go.
Do you know how much electricity is up?
I could venture to say, but throw me a number.
28.6%.
Well, I know people around here are feeling it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, around here in the state of South Carolina, the electricity is run a little bit different than we were used to.
In certain towns, yes, it is.
Yes. We come from the land of Lincoln, where I think it's more of a monopoly that Commonwealth Edison is.
Oh, it's not like a monopoly.
Or it is a monopoly.
100% a monopoly. Commonwealth Edison runs that power.
Aren't those illegal?
I thought so.
Okay, just checking, asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend, but, what did I learn in 8th grade?
But, I mean, Illinois is probably one of the most
that's a topic for another day.
States. Now, we do want to get out there that this is for entertainment purposes only.
Is just our opinions.
These are statistics as we have taken them off of the internet. They are maybe not 100% fact, but these are fact that we have found. However, this is
not from Wikipedia, correct?
No.
All right. So
no, these are from news outlets.
Then we're good there.
Right. Okay.
I think we're good. I think we're good to report that.
All right, but we again want to put out there just to save our asses. This is for entertainment purposes. We will try to give you facts as we best have them, but a lot of this stuff after that is just our opinions.
Yes, 100%.
We did have to find out. We had to put that disclaimer out there.
Correct.
Okay,
so we already got electric is already up 28%.
Correct. Okay. Now, rent in the United States of America since Biden has taken office. Has gone up a whopping 19.4%.
You know what's scary about that is what's been going on is there's two major companies, Vanguard and BlackRock, who are buying so much property. And they are overpaying for the property just to have it and then basically drive the prices up. That is a terrifying thought. And it's happening not only in the United States. They actually just spent $30 billion for a Canadian.
Oh, with Justin Trudeau?
Yeah. So it's not getting better. hopefully, with inflation slowing down, the Feds do lower the rates and can get home ownership back to a reasonable level for everybody. But it's going to take some time.
Now let's just put the difference between a Democrat philosophy and a Republican philosophy. A Democrat philosophy, or Democrat, they rule things, is generally extend credit, extend
Borrow,
credit,
borrow.
borrow. So you're never actually owning anything. You're always owing somebody. In a Republican type scenario, they want you to have the American dream, which is they want you to own a business. They want you to, it's about the American people, of the people, by the people. So they want you to own land.
Mm-hmm.
They want you to have your inalienable rights, and they want less government, and they want you to be productive humans.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it boils down to. And that basically it is go to school, go to work, and pay your taxes. And along the way, buy some property, buy a business, be a self-made millionaire. That's what a lot of them are.
One of our favorite country songs.
Mm-hmm.
Buy dirt.
Buy dirt, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so back to Bidenomics.
Oh, yeah.
Food prices.
Food
prices.
I think everybody's seen this at fast food restaurants.
Fast food, grocery stores, 21%.
Ouch.
21%.
Do you remember the time when we could get double cheeseburgers for 99 cents at McDonald's?
I wouldn't even know. We don't eat that shit anymore,
But there was a time.
Yeah, there was.
And I can remember it, and I have a terrible memory.
So here's what's crazy. So at last year, Sam's Club.
Yes.
I would buy the 50-bag box of chips for my kids, and it was $13
for the lunches.
Yep. The school lunch chips, whatever. Frito-Lay, whatever.
Doritos, yes.
Little bags that everybody throws in their kids' lunches.
Yep.
$13.98 for 50 bags, 50
Perfect.
small bags, or 30 of the bigger bags. They're over $20 a box.
They are over $20 now.
Within 1 year, $7 those have gone up.
Yep. That's terrible. And that's like, if you do the math real quick off the top of my head, it's like a 33% increase or 32%.
Mm-hmm. It's insanity.
It's terrifying.
It is insanity. It is, I think it's in over 3 years. Gas has not been on the average under $3 a gallon since Biden has taken office. And it's just going to go up.
Now, the reason is because he has depleted our reserves as well, because he stopped the pipeline first day in office.
Because of the environment, which we're going to call
bullshit.
And let's say that again.
Bullshit. Because if the water was going to rise, banks wouldn't give loans to everybody on the coast, and Obama wouldn't have spent $12 million on a house.
I thought you said $20 million.
Or $20 million.
Yeah.
My apologies. $20 million
on a house on a house on the coast.
So,
yeah.
You could take your water's not rising.
Yeah, and if the water really was rising, do you think these rich people, a la Zuckerberg and Winfrey and The Rock, would be building bunkers on an island?
Doesn't really make sense, does
pretty
it?
sure those bunkers would be underwater. If they really thought that. Okay. We'll get on that another day.
Okay. So so far we've got just our electricity is up, just our rent is up, just our food is up. Now what else is up?
Well, they're saying in general, those are the three major ones that they had out there, but they said just overall of everything in the United States of America that you have to pay for is up 17.9%.
Damn.
And I believe that that's probably way higher than that. They're saying food prices, and I mean meat is insane, and the quality. Let's talk about the quality, because ever since COVID, I think that the quality of meat and food has gone downhill. I think at
certain locations, yes, we've found that some grocery stores just don't get good stuff. Others do, and I don't know.
But you're going to severely pay for it. We are actually in talks of going locally here and purchasing.
We're going to buy a half cow.
Yeah, and we're going to get some chickens, and we're going to homestead, and
all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I got potatoes, corn, and some other things going.
Okay, we got all that rain.
However.
All right. We talking more money?
Yeah, we're talking more money.
All right, I like to talk about money.
Let's talk about. Let's see. Do we want to talk about what's going overseas first, or do we want to talk about what we're spending here first?
You know what? I do want to talk about overseas because it's really kind of irritating me. So we've already sent to one country, 165 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Billion.
It's the one that's in the war with the real big country
It's
right
the
now.
one that I believe is being or having to pay back or something like. I don't know. There could be some shenanigans, but 165 billion dollars has gone to Ukraine.
Yeah, you mean I see. I think that's more of like paying blackmail than anything.
Well, I
but,
wasn't
you
going
know,
to say
hey,
blackmail, but I mean, you can say it.
again, these are all opinions,
Yeah.
but it's
It
crazy.
just seems weird. It
that-
just seems weird.
Yeah, we're spending all of this money on a foreign country that really wasn't even in existence that long ago.
Yeah.
And have any of you seen the president of that country?
Probably.
know
Isn't he an
that-
actor?
He was a comedian.
Oh, comedian.
But he was
that's what
also
it
a cross-dressing comedian.
That makes sense, actually.
Mhm.
That 100% makes sense.
Yeah, and he actually did a news conference here not too long ago where he stated that we should give them so much money and we should be crying because they need it. Those were the man's words. We should go to bed crying.
You should see all those Ukrainian boats that are, they're nice now.
Yeah, they really are, aren't
Yeah.
they? And so he also took all of this money from our country, stating that he wanted to make the Ukraine a democratic country, and he wanted to go along the democratic ways. Do you know what he just did?
I don't know.
He canceled the elections
That makes sense.
so he can retain the presidency.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that funny? Yeah.
Actually, I don't find it funny. I find it disturbing.
Yeah, it's
What
really
I
disturbing.
find even more disturbing is what they do last night.
Also, the Senate, our Democratic-led Senate. Now, just in case you have not been able to guess,
We're not Democrats.
no,
I
I have
and that's all
been
we'll say.
since probably Alex P. Keaton in Family Ties, a card-carrying Republican. However, I've always found myself to be middle-leaning. Up until about 8 years ago, middle-leaning, where I always thought the conservatives were a little bit too conservative, but I felt Democrats were a little bit too. But in the middle, there was a happy medium.
Yeah.
However, I still was more conservative. I'm at this point where I don't even think there's a Democratic Party anymore. I think they're just a bunch of woohoos. And
There-
obviously, by what we're going to go over here,
I feel like everybody in the Democratic Party is just looking out for themselves. And I mean, take Pelosi. I mean,
Yeah, we don't-
She had a $125,000 salary, and now she's worth almost $300 million just from being in the Senate.
yeah.
Interesting.
And she claims it's not from insider trading.
Of course not. No.
No, but
No.
even though they're privy to that information prior to,
Just because they make the laws on how these corporations run, that doesn't mean anything.
no,
No.
not at all.
Come on.
And right before something big is going to happen in these corporations, they buy all this stock. But they had no idea beforehand.
It's just they're really lucky.
Lucky.
They're really lucky.
It's really luck, right?
It is luck.
Yeah, it is luck. It's
Yep.
totally luck. Okay, so
But what
let's
they do
talk
last
about
night-
what the Senate did
what they
last
do last
night.
night.
They passed a new spending bill for our very good friends overseas with the cross-dressing president.
They did. They're sending them more money.
Mm-hmm. Our Senate, led by Chuck Schumer. Yeah, that
Yep.
guy.
Mm-hmm.
They passed a $95 billion package.
I thought it was 95.4.
Oh, maybe. I mean, you got to add a point
You
in there.
got to throw the point
So
four in
a
there.
$94 billion package. Now, this is on top of,
The 165 billion they've already sent them.
they've already sent them. Now, let's be fair.
That is true.
Let's be
it's
fair, let's
not
be fair, let's
all
be fair.
for Ukraine.
Only 60 million of that is
Billion.
going to, I'm sorry. Oh, I forgot. I got 60 billion.
Yes. So that brings the total to $225 billion
Mm-hmm.
sent to one country
Mm-hmm.
for a war that never should have started.
Correct.
Okay,
And
just
wait
wanna
a
make sure
second.
we're on the same page.
Whoa. How many wars have we been
I think we're in 3 now.
through? Okay, since Biden.
In 3 years.
Oh, okay.
He's
And
3 for 3.
Trump.
0.
Oh, okay.
And he killed ISIS. Yeah, and our military was incredibly strong. But
Okay, back to stats
who
right
else
now.
is getting money out of this deal?
So, Israel.
Israel. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's fine.
You know the land of Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, yeah. Wait. Another war we shouldn't be in. Okay, go ahead.
Again, but
But,
the other night,
yeah. What'd they do?
President Biden was talking about
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
about the war, and he.
Wow. Yeah, that press conference was interesting.
We'll talk about that in a second. Let's get back to
Yeah.
facts here.
All right, so more money. So
Okay, so Out of the 95.4 billion
billion
that the Senate passed last
Mhm.
evening, and they worked, I mean, into the wee hours of the night.
Wee hours of the night.
60 million's going to the land of blue and yellow over there with the
Billion.
cross dressing.
You keep
Oh, I
saying
keep saying million.
Yeah, it's a
Billion.
It's easy for us to talk about billions, right?
Yeah, I know. I mean, because it's just
It's just there.
so 60 billion to the blue and yellow cross dresser,
Yes.
and then the other 35.4 billion is going to be split somehow between Israel
Mm-hmm.
and Taiwan.
Okay. Now Taiwan, they're about to get invaded. What, by China?
Mm-hmm.
So he's trying to get a fourth one. Is that what we're thinking?
Hey,
So
you
we got to
know.
bolster their defense before we have to defend them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, with all that said,
It's a lot of money.
written in to this bill
Yep.
is a knee-jerk clause
Yep.
stating that if a president were to try to stop the funding at any time for this, which by the way, this funding continues, this 95.4 billion gets paid out until September 2025.
Yep.
So that would be a year plus some change into the whoever the next president's
No.
term is.
You know, because they'll take over in January, so it's the first
That's
9 months.
January of 2020. Yeah.
5.
I guess, yeah.
So for the first 9 months, whoever the next president is, written into this bill,
if they try to stop the funding, which they're doing this, and
hold on, let's give them the result of it first. So whoever the president is, if they try to stop the funding, they can automatically
be impeached.
start impeachment process.
Correct. Now,
Why would they do that?
it's being stated the reason why they're doing that was because Donald Trump stated
Mhm.
that if elected into office,
Mhm.
he will immediately, day one, stop it all.
But now here's
Stop all the funding to Ukraine, stop all the funding for all of these outside wars, all of it.
So now, but here's the funny part, and here's where Trump's actually pretty smart about it. He actually said that he's going to stop that war day after he gets elected. So he wouldn't even be the president then. So he already is thinking of a workaround, and this is just pissing everybody off.
Right.
And it's making me laugh.
Now, with that, all of that being said,
Yes.
this also has to go through the House. The
It
Senate
does.
cannot pass this alone, and
No.
we all know once it gets to the House, it's probably going to be DOA, dead on arrival.
We hope it is. We
Simply
hope it is.
because the House is Republican led. I did find out an interesting statistic. So, based on voting, so we just talked about how Mayorkas got impeached.
Yes.
Now, there was a vote that was brought around. Sorry, our Doug's just came down the stairs. There was a vote that was brought around a week or two ago, and he did not get impeached. Now, here's what happened. 4 Republicans jumped over to the nays.
Okay.
Okay. And one of the Republicans that did so was because his vote would have been the tying vote. If there is a tie,
Went to Kamala.
no.
Oh.
If there's a tie, it's dead and it cannot be re-brought up. So he actually went to the nays because then you can re-bring the impeachment. Does
Oh,
that
okay.
make sense?
And there was one person I saw that came back. They were in the hospital. It wasn't not the defense secretary, not the
No, Scalia, I think is his name.
yeah,
Or
somebody-
Scalise.
one of them
Yes.
came back.
Right, but I don't think that had an impact on this vote.
It did. It was
did?
214 to 213.
Okay, so however,
It
like
was a
I said,
one-vote win.
the one responsible Republican went ahead and caused it to be a nay at the initial impeachment vote
Okay.
because he knew if it was a tie, that could never be brought forth again
Ah, pretty smart.
for
then.
those particular reasons. So, yeah, he actually saved us and saved us all.
But either way, I don't think the Senate's going to pass it because it's going to the Democrats. So nothing's probably going to happen. But
All right, so let's get back to the money.
Money.
Why don't we take a little ride into New York?
New York is doing that pilot program, huh?
New York is also a sanctuary city.
They are?
New York, it was one of the first who were like, open your homes. If you have an extra room, open your homes to these people.
Right.
And now, not only is New York opening their homes, they're opening high-end hotels.
Yep.
They're opening schools.
They did open schools.
To illegals. And
So I
not
think
only that, but they are giving out, they have put aside $53 million.
well, let's be clear on that. That is strictly from New York City.
Yeah, this is just New York City. This
So
is not the entire state of
the-
New York. This is New York City.
So the governor of New York actually wants to get rid of them because after the three or four attacked the police officer in New York, right?
Uh-huh.
And then they let them go.
Well, but did you see the body cam footage on that?
I did not.
Okay, so the body cam footage told a completely different story, and it did not fit with the narrative that was put out there.
So
So what it seemed like was, oh, there's an uproar. These illegals. Now, believe me, I do not and will not and believe that they need to be gone, and they should be arrested and deported immediately. All illegals, go get out of my country. This is our country.
Okay, go ahead.
Anyhow,
What did the body cam footage say?
what happened was apparently they were in front of some building,
Okay,
and the officers were basically telling them to
move along.
move along
Okay.
and move along and move along while these guys were jawing back and forth to the officers. They were moving. Okay, the illegals were moving
Okay.
along. Well, at this point, one of them said something.
Okay,
But again, sticks and stones, right?
just words.
Yes, words.
Officer didn't like it.
Officer didn't like it and grabbed him, and it escalated from there.
Yeah,
The officer then, you don't talk to me like that
yeah,
type of mentality.
sure.
Well, then now the illegal little group of them, they're like, well, get off our buddy, and so on and so forth.
Right.
And that then happened.
Okay.
Now, that said, there have been other instances. I believe there was an illegal that was arrested for killing a mother and a toddler, and he also was released. So it's a fucked up country we're living in right now. Just an FYI, there will be bad language. Not frequently. I will try to stop it, but I do like to talk in cursive, so take that for what you will.
But the 53 million.
The $53 million that the New York City governor has earmarked for the illegals.
No, New York City mayor.
New York City mayor. Sorry, mayor. Earmarked $53 million to the illegals to be given out in debit cards, prepaid debit cards.
Yay.
And they had to sign. This is where it gets really funny. The illegals had to sign an affidavit swearing that they're only going to use this money for food.
Food and essentials.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But there's no way they can verify any of this. They are giving them prepaid Visa cards, and there's no way for them to check. So they're spending this money on whatever in the hell that they want to spend this money on.
Booze.
Now, let me break this down to you. SNAP benefits, which is basically like welfare, in New York City, on the average, daily, they're getting the people who are on the SNAP benefits program, so the food program, they're getting basically $7 a day.
Now that is for people that live here.
United States of America citizens.
Get a little over $7 a day.
Right.
Okay.
In their government, because they're
From
low
their own
income.
government,
From our own
they're out there to
government.
help them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They get $7 a day.
Okay. That's fair.
The illegals,
The illegals.
it breaks down to almost double that at $12 and some change a day.
Wait a minute. You mean our government is giving illegals more money than our own people?
Yes.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yes. Another funny story with that is there was $96 million missing from Veterans Affairs for veterans' medical bills, and they couldn't figure out where this money was going.
Yeah.
And after some investigation, they found out that another government office quietly earmarked that $96 million that was supposed to go to veterans' medical benefits, and were paying for the medical care of illegals.
But you're telling me at least the veterans still got their medical care, right?
Nope. They didn't get to see doctors. They're still on wait lists, and they don't
So wait a
have
minute.
any money to treat them.
You mean our government is giving more money to illegals and giving them health care over
Our veterans that served
citizens
our
and
country,
homeless. Oh,
yes,
okay. That's
that give us the right to walk freely daily. Yes, that's exactly what I'm telling you.
Go New York.
Okay, but hey, you know what? Let's not leave our home state on
We're
this.
going to talk about Chicago?
Okay, here's
We
a little
can,
fun
we
one.
can.
I mean,
This is a fun one.
granted, the money's not as big. I do think there's a big figure, a $98 million figure
there is.
that the Chicago mayor has earmarked, but we're not going to talk about the $98 million.
We didn't have to talk about the 98 million, but the best part about that 98 million is that he didn't tell anybody about it.
Right, no, he
and
just
he
decided.
just did it on its own.
Mhm.
So that was a little scary.
But we are going to talk about the
We're going to talk about the 17 million that was given to owners of restaurants in Chicago, but you could not be a white person. You didn't qualify if you were a white owner.
business owner,
You couldn't. But if you were a minority owner,
black or brown,
black or brown
was
is
exactly how it was
the
written.
mayor said, they would pay them to feed the illegals. Okay. And the mayor comes out, he goes, this is, a reflection of our society. To me, that sounds really bad in terms of the white people don't qualify.
That's kind of as bad as the Boston mayor having a party only for minorities. Their holiday party was only for minorities.
Well, is it as bad as the Hamptons getting listed as low income so they can get
was
the
that
government?
the Hamptons or Martha's Vineyard?
It was Martha's Vineyard.
Martha's
I do
Vineyard,
stand
yes,
corrected.
Martha's Vineyard. Do you know where like Obama and all them have their summer houses?
It is now designated a low income area so that the government, so that they qualify for government credits for electric vehicle charging stations.
Do you know who the biggest supplier of electric vehicles is?
I do. I know
Tell
the
me.
answer. It's China.
Do you know who the biggest supplier of cobalt, which is what it takes to
To make the batteries. I know the answer to that too. And it's 87% actually China. Yeah. So this whole electric vehicle thing is benefiting basically China.
And do you know that when they had really, really cold weather just recently, do you know what they couldn't power?
Their electric cars. So they became basically huge paperweights.
Yes.
And actually, somebody got locked in it there.
Oh yeah. So I was telling you that story.
Oh my God, that's fantastic.
I was watching one of the people that I follow posted, check this out. And this lady, she had a Tesla. She was locked in her electric vehicle, and she was actually having to be
And
loaded.
it died. Yeah, the car died.
Yeah, the car died, and she couldn't get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so she had to be lifted in her vehicle onto a tow truck and taken to a charging station
to get let out of her car.
To get let out of her car. Yeah, she was stuck in that vehicle. Now,
Yeah.
could you imagine? Now, these have been known to start on fire. Could you imagine if that would have started on fire? That lady.
She'd be dead.
Mm-hmm.
And there was nothing they could do.
Yeah.
Now, I do know that a bunch of companies have halted their electric vehicle divisions. Ford
being the
one of
number
them.
one. Ford was actually one of the
Honda,
Yeah.
I think Honda jumped on it. Now everybody's going to hydrogen engines. Here's the thing, and what nobody's talking about, here's the secret. Oil's never going to run out in this world.
Mm-mm.
It won't.
No.
It
regenerates.
regenerates faster than we can pump it out.
Look it up for yourselves.
So
it is true.
There is literally no reason to do this electric car crap.
Other than to line pockets. And with electric vehicles, if they put everybody with electric vehicles by 2030 or some stupid number that they wanted to do, we don't have the infrastructure
No, we don't have the electric. No, we can't.
to be able to charge them all.
Here's a funny one. No, here Biden wants electric tanks. What the fuck happens if your tank dies?
Have you seen him?
We're not talking about him. I can't
You
talk
just
about him.
did?
No, I'm just saying he's an idiot.
That man is not. He's not doing it. He's a puppet. He literally is one of those marionettes I used to have when I was a kid, and he's not even doing it well. Like now, they're actually talking about Kamala, and she's come out saying that she's
ready to serve.
Yeah, Hillary Clinton actually came out today saying that maybe they really have to consider Joe Biden's
mental state.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll quickly go on.
Well,
that.
if the Clintons talked about it, he might be gone soon. I mean, anybody who's talking about the Clinton.
All right, so let's
Joking.
talk more money. What else? We can talk about California and their money.
Okay, this is a big one. This is one of my favorites. I will never, ever, 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 ever go to the state of California.
Won't do it. Won't do it. Gavin Newsom's tough. He's kind of scary.
I'm pretty sure that guy's the Antichrist, but that's
He might
just my
be,
personal
but
opinion.
he has decided in his infinite wisdom in the state of California to give every illegal immigrant
Healthcare.
free health care.
How much is it costing his taxpayers?
Every year, $2.4 billion.
Billion.
Now, my question is, who's paying for that?
His
The legals?
taxpayers.
So the legals are paying the $2.4 billion price tag for the illegals' health care.
Well, who's paying the $53 million in New York? Taxpayers.
Damn.
Who's paying the $17 million in Illinois? taxpayers. Actually, it's
Man.
98 million, but 17 million. Now, I do want to put out there that we say black and brown. We are repeating the facts as
Yeah, that
we
actually
read them.
came out of the
Mike
mouth
and
of the
I
mayor in Chicago.
are the furthest thing from racist people. We have raised our children. You love everybody on a case by case basis. The only reason we may or may not like you is because you're an asshole. So if you're an asshole, but I don't care what color you are.
No.
I give two shits as
Come
long
in-
as you're a good person.
Come in legally, pay your taxes, and that's all we ask.
Yeah.
But when you become a drain on society and cost billions of dollars,
And not
I
to
got a problem with
not
it.
to mention the crime that's happening. And now you know that they don't want to deport them for DUIs.
No. They live in Illinois. Oh no, they passed a law. They can't even pull them over for that.
No.
Mm-mm.
Illinois is terrifying. Y'all, I feel so bad for you. It's beautiful down here. The weather's great. Come on.
We got any more money spending out there?
We don't have any more money spending out there, but what we do have is our opinion. And our opinion is
Can I tell you one thing though? What's
Absolutely.
been going on, because everything, it deals with inflation. So in the state in the state of New York, in the last year, retail theft is up 66%.
mm-hmm.
The state of New York alone, it costs businesses $4 billion.
Think about what that's going to cost our insurance companies. Now,
billion
AOC, who's part of the squad, she explains it away by saying, well, they can't go out and get jobs and they can't support their families. So it's not really their fault. They have to steal.
Again.
No, they have to go back. They have to leave. They have to go. And here's something really funny is people interviewed in Mexico say that Mexico's one of the biggest races. They don't want people crossing their borders. No. The country south of them, they don't come in. Their border's secure.
Yeah.
They're laughing at us and sending them saying, go, stupid.
They're all flying in and then just walking up.
Yeah, they have people that actually cross the border multiple times a day down in California.
Yeah, because they get $1,500 every time they cross.
Mm-hmm.
So they've had guys cross. I think the one I saw, he said he went 6 times in a month.
Mm-hmm.
So he made, do the math, $9,000.
Yeah.
Good for
Up
him.
in the state of Illinois, they're giving illegals $1,500 each a month.
Oh, and they just took away they're trying to take away the field house for that football team or the
they did.
youth football program.
Yeah, there's a youth football program in inner city Chicago. I saw this yesterday and it put me into damn tears. Our kids played youth football and we happen to come from a nicer community. However, we played some of these communities where they didn't have a lot of money and these kids were on scholarship and these programs were funded by donations. And this was a lot of times all these kids had. And it was,
They're taking it away.
And they're taking it away from them. And this was the place where they didn't have to worry about the shit at home. They didn't have to worry about the crime. They got to go play their damn game and just be successful at something. And hopefully maybe give them a future or a shot or something. Because I believe, it takes one good coach. And gosh, you get so much out of these sports. And now in the city of Chicago, there's a field house that they have, a Park District field house that they have now displaced all of these teams for these kids. And now they no longer have anywhere to practice. And because it is now housing illegal immigrants.
Yeah. And so is the airport, though, too.
Yeah, Chicago O'Hare, you see these black tarps. Those are illegal immigrants in there. Apparently the smell of the urine, the feces, the BO is beyond. Our one of our sons just recently went up there to go see friends and family, and I was scared. Yeah. I was really scared. I was like, please don't go do this. And they were born and raised there. It's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. And we're actually starting to see more down here. And it's awful. It's truly an invasion of our country. And
it is. You know what the funny thing is, though? One thing we haven't talked about. So out of the most depressing thing about this government spending and what we've talked about, and yes, we're mocking the fact that $200 and something billion is going to Ukraine. But in this $95.4 billion spending bill that they just passed last night, and Mitt Romney called it, I quote, the most important vote that Senate is going to have ever. Not $1, not one, goes to our border security. Not one. And what's even sadder is that the current government administration is legally trying to sue the states that are trying to stop it.
You also know that in the United States of America, what they're how the administration is trying to spin these illegals is these are asylum seekers. But what they're also not telling you is the majority of these are not families that are coming across. It's
No.
not men and women and children. It's military aged males. There's no women and children. There's very few of those. Also, in the states, the United States of America, if asylum seekers and those people that came across the border legally and through the proper channels, it would take them 5 to 7 years to become citizens.
Yes. There
Now,
is
while
a
that process, I always thought was a little bit long, Biden had recently come out and said, well, we're going to speed that up.
Yes.
So I'm thinking, was he going to do a couple of years?
Mm-mm.
Nope. He wants to change it to make that process from 5 to 7 years down to 6 months. So those people would be citizens of our country that couldn't even speak our language, that think we're stupid, that are literally using TikTok to get across the border. You know that, right? They're using TikTok.
Well, it's good because Biden just opened a TikTok, even though it violates his own federal law.
Correct.
Makes
To
sense.
get across the border. These Chinese nationals that are asylum seekers. 6 months. Do you know what happens?
Oh, I know what happens well, it's actually 8 months it's going to happen, but there's a reason they want it on the 6-month timeline.
Elections. And all those people that are coming across the border, they think Biden is this superhero. Oh, we love Biden. We would vote for Biden.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just wait, because they're changing the rules on the mail-in ballots, too.
But, also something funny I saw. Do you know how hard it was to get into the Super Bowl? Do you know what they had to do?
They had to show ID.
Yeah.
They had gates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was crazy.
But, these illegals, you know what they can do? They can fly, and they really only have to show an app on their phone.
That's awesome.
I had to go get a gold star on my driver's license. I was previously married, and I had to hunt down my original
Oh, good Lord.
wedding license or marriage license in order to get the gold star, because you have to prove, I had to prove I was born here. I was born in Boone, Iowa, in Boone County Hospital.
Then you decided to get married in the smallest county in Tennessee, where
Meigs County, Tennessee. It was handwritten. However, in order to get the little gold star on your driver's license, that thing they said that we all have to have in order to travel or do anything in the United States of America.
It's called a real ID.
Yes. And it was required, right?
Mm-hmm. It will be.
I had to show every single name change I had. So I had to have all of those things and go in with all of those things, including my birth certificate, my marriage certificates, everything.
You had to go to the Social Security office.
I had to go to the Social. It was a nightmare.
That was a pain in the ass for you.
Yeah, and I was almost in tears because I'm like, I lived here my entire life, and I have to prove who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And these people are coming over. There's a cache of all of their IDs at the border, and they think it's just a damn joke. They can be anybody they want to be. They have to this date caught 169 wanted terrorists crossing the border.
That's it? Out of the 12 million that have crossed?
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's 12 million.
Mm-hmm.
Honey, that's more than that.
No, last number I heard was 12 million.
I thought it was like 22.
Mm-mm. Last I heard was 12.
According to the administration, it's 12. According to everybody else, it's 22 million. 22 million have crossed the border since he has taken office, and it's gone up exponentially.
How many people live in this state?
Okay, so when we moved down here,
Go ahead.
When we moved down here, we moved from the Chicagoland area. We lived right just north of Chicago in Lake County, which is literally right under the Cheddar Curtain, which is Wisconsin. Far enough away from the city. But Cook County is the county that houses Chicago, and that's actually where the biggest population in the state is, and that's Democrat. The rest of the state is actually Republican, with the exception of Cook County, Illinois. Cook County, Illinois actually has by like 500,000 more people than the entire state of South Carolina.
Flip that. They got 5 million. I think we got 5.5 million.
No, they had more.
Oh, they had more?
They had more.
That's crazy.
They had more.
So basically, you're telling me 4 South Carolinas has illegally crossed the border.
Yes.
In the last 3 years.
Yes.
You heard it here first. That's insane and terrifying.
Yes.
Okay. I think we can end it on that fact.
take this information for what you will. If you guys have any information or any stats, let us know. If you like us, if you enjoyed this, please.
Like, share, subscribe.
If you subscribe to our YouTube channel, it's absolutely free. When it says subscribe, it just means that you get notified when we release episodes. Our Instagram and our Facebook pages are of the same name, Mike and Jen Xing around the world.
Around the world.
And, that's what we're going to cover, everything around the world and everything in between. There are times where it's going to be funny. There's times where it's going to be sad. There's times where it's going to be like, what the actual
This is funny and sad.
It's almost, it's so surreal. It's mind blowing. My mom passed 7 years ago, and I was joking with Mike. She actually died on the same day that Trump was inaugurated.
Yeah.
And I said, could you imagine her coming back now and like ghost form and being like, what the fuck happened when I was gone? It's a completely different world. I mean, we've had COVID, we've had this, we've had these
COVID, yes.
which I don't even think you can say the name of the thingy, which I'm going to tell you down here. Don't have it, and my kid's got the $1 million sperm.
There we go.
But it's crazy town now. I will tell you, to my friends up north, if you have like minds like we do, get the hell out of there. Come down here. It's wonderful. The water's beautiful. We are 2.5 hours away from everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to end on a great nugget, and then I just forgot about it because I have ADHD, and it was such a good statement too.
Oh my God. And ADHD, we both have it as adults, and we are going to have a whole conversation about that another day.
We are 100%.
Yeah. But, until then,
be safe, have fun,
mm-hmm.
Be aware of your surroundings. That's one thing I tell everybody. Just be aware of your surroundings.
Especially now, a lot of people down here, you guys aren't used to the influx of those people. And when I say those people, I mean those people.
We mean illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
We call them illegals because they
are illegal.
illegally.
Yeah.
And if
they're not here for us. They are not here to give you a hug. You see them jumping your fence, they're not there to give you a hug. And people up in Illinois and the sanctuary states, I feel sorry for you not having to be able to have the opportunity to have a weapon to protect yourself.
Nope.
Down here, which I can say is we do, and we are
plenty.
grateful for our Second Amendment right,
mm-hmm.
and they encourage you to.
Our sheriff has flat out said they may not be able to get to you
because it is it's a big county.
A
lot of these counties are, and people are fewer and farther between, which is wonderful. But he goes, you need to arm yourself. I may not be, me or my deputies, we may not be able to get there because some people do live out in the sticks.
They do.
And
it's a big county.
You need to be able to protect your homes. And we need more people like that because that's what this country was based on. You need to protect yourselves against not only your fellow people, but your government.
Yeah. Hey, can I talk about one more thing, money that our government is spending?
Absolutely.
Because it's a great story just to end this one.
Absolutely.
So, you remember when the war started and
which one?
The Ukraine-Russia one.
Okay.
And the U.S. did a bunch of sanctions against the Russian oligarchies, right? So the U.S. Repossessed, basically, or took away one of their boats. Mm-hmm. It's a 345-foot yacht that the U.S. government is paying, and I cannot make this up, $7 million a year for its upkeep. Yep. Taxpayers are paying it. You all have a wonderful night. We love you.
We hope you enjoyed the new format.
Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.